Johnson's Lake. Jeremy Jackson Johnson's was a dilapidated grill and bar perched on a patch of pristine sand near the edge of a small inlet on the Intercoastal Waterway. Johnson was a retired Navy man, the son of a retired Navy man and second-generation beer slinger. The shack faced the Atlantic's blue-green water, open to the breeze and the public and populated by locals who looked past the grimy-looking Quonset hut that housed the grill portion of the establishment. Wrench Aries sat on a well-worn bar stool with one strong hand wrapped around a sweating draft. He ignored the scantily clad women that walked past trying hard to catch his eye, just as he ignored the unruly bikers sitting 2 tables behind him being crude, rude and generally ill-mannered. Johnson swept the lukewarm beer out of Wrench's hand and deftly replaced it with a fresh one. "I'm still going to charge you," he growled. "Put it on my tab," said Wrench. "That's coming due too." "Take an IOU?" "Until the 1st. Your pension coming then?" Wrench shrugged. He looked way too young to be retired, but he was, twice over, and had 2 government pensions to prove it. His very first birth certificate stated he was 38 years old, but when he grew out his hair and stubble, he could pass for a decade younger. It was the eyes that gave him away. Learned men would say they looked wise, but those men had never been to war and so could be forgiven their inept description. The eyes had that look. Marines called it the 1,000-yard stare, SEALs called the look seen the shit, and the other branches had names for it as well. Wrench's eyes were golden brown and hard, and that was as simple a way to call it as any. "Why do you look so sad, sweetie?" A delicious-looking auburn-haired beauty slid up onto the stool next to him. She had a hard body carved from hours in the gym, and proudly displayed her store-bought chest, displayed very prominently under a glistening bikini top that was way too expensive to use for swimming. Wrench gave her a half-hearted smile. "I was waiting for you to show up, and thought you might have bailed." "Nice," she smiled, showing a perfect set of perfect teeth. "Hey Johnson, who's your friend?" "That's Wrench." "Wrench, that's Jamie." Wrench held out a hand. She took it in a full grip and squeezed hard. Her hands were strong. "Wrench? Parents hate you." "It's a nickname," he said, but still hunched over the bar. "That's a weird nickname." "Yes, it is." Jamie spun around on the stool and lifted up the draft that Johnson had set before her. She held it out for a toast. After a moment, Wrench lifted his glass and clinked them together. He finally took a single gulp of the beer as Jamie watched him over the edge of her glass. "Weird nicknames usually have a story," she flashed that smile at him again. Wrench was pretty sure that smile had caused a lot of hearts to flutter, and he felt flattered that it was aimed in his direction, but he could do without it today. He was about to say as much when Johnson slid a plate of fried conch fritters between them. "It's a great story," he growled. "Eat this while you tell it." Wrench watched the bartender walk to the other end of the bar to take up a conversation with some more locals. "You from around here?" "I'm down from Orlando," she said. "I'm in real estate." "Not a good business to be in right now," he said. "I do okay. I've been at it for a little while, so I'm prepared for the feast or famine. Plus my ex left me able to survive my lifestyle." She dazzled him with the smile again. "Looks like you do that well." "Why thank you." She lilted and preened just a little bit. "What line of work are you in?" "I'm retired." "Retired?" "You're too young to retire." "That's what I said." "What did you do?" "I was in a recession-proof business." "That narrows it down," she smirked. "It's a military bar run by a military man," she said. "Were you in the military?" "Once." "You're not following Johnson's orders." She popped a conch fritter between her luscious lips. He took another drink. "A long time ago." "In a galaxy far, far away?" "What is it with guys your age and that movie?" "It's a documentary," he joked. "What?" "No, the movie." "It's a joke. It wasn't a galaxy far away, it was the middle of a desert during GW1 and I was in the military." "What's GW1? "The first Gulf War in '91. I was 2 years in and I was captured by some of Saddam's elite soldiers." "Don't they cut off prisoners' heads?" Her eyes were wide with wonder. "Not back then. That came later." "Did they torture you?" He nodded. "With a wrench?" "Not quite. Battery cables and a water hose. Fists. Cricket bat. I was in a room with 6 soldiers and their commander and they worked me over pretty good. But I was just a squad leader, I didn't know anything. They were just being cruel." "It sounds awful. What happened?" He couldn't help but notice she seemed a little excited about it. "They left a wrench on a table during a lull in the conversation. I broke free and killed them all with it." You killed 6 men with a wrench? 7. She laughed. Bullshit. And that made Wrench smile. You asked. Johnson. What kind of lines is this guy feeding me? You asked. Johnson smiled. Wrench? Sounds like you were a mechanic. You got me. That's it? I knew it. You were a hood jockey. Guilty as charged. She put her hand on top of his. Are you good with your hands? I can be. We'll find out, she whispered and slipped off the bar stool. She pulled him with her. Your tab keeps growing, Johnson called after him. That's not the only thing, said Wrench, and all of a sudden he didn't look so sad anymore.